everyone wants to have a great relationship. Everyone is seeking love.
No.
So why not educate young couples and individuals about the fact that love is a great feeling. Love is really important for a relationship, but having a long-term healthy relationship, that's a skill that you can actually learn.
This episode is brought to you by WHU, the Otto Beisheim School of Management. WHU is reshaping the way students learn about business, management, finance, and entrepreneurship through its innovative programs and partnerships in Germany and across the globe. To learn more about this globally ranked university, visit whu.edu today.
Hi folks, Dries here. Welcome to the newest episode of the Most Awesome Founder Talent Recordings. Today, I'm happy to introduce to you another young talent out of our ecosystem, Chenchen Cao from Power Mind Club. Chenchen moved with her parents from China to Germany when she was 7 years old. After finishing her MBA at the WHU Otto Beisheim School of Management, she entered the corporate world. However, recently Chenchen decided to fully dedicate herself to founding the startup Power Mind Club, together with her co-founders Kim Cash and Alexander Franke. We are looking forward to hear the story of Chenchen and Power Mind Club today. Hope you will enjoy the show.
Coming to you from WHU on the banks of the Rhine River in beautiful Vallendar, Germany. This is the best and most awesome founder podcast. A show about entrepreneurs, innovators, advisors, and educators, and the stories that make them who they are today.
Chenchen, welcome to the podcast, and great that you were willing to share some of your experiences with us.
Yeah, thank you, Dries, for having me.
Great. As I briefly mentioned in my introduction, so you actually moved from China to Germany when you were 7 years old. Could you maybe tell us a bit more about what this meant as a family to start building up a totally new life in a totally different country? How did you experience that?
Yes, very cool. It was definitely a struggle in the beginning. I didn't speak a word of German when I came here, and my parents were also learning German at that time. And a main struggle for them I saw was basically they had well-paying jobs back in China, university degree, but nothing of that was accepted here.
Okay.
So for them, they saw founding a company as an outlet to start a new life here. So I saw my dad building a business from the scratch. He worked days and nights, weekdays and weekends. And what he did was importing computer parts from China in the 90s and selling them in the German market.
Okay, so he was actually a bit forced to be an entrepreneur to survive.
Exactly. It was definitely a forced decision. And but I'm really grateful that they did it, because they were able to give my brother and I a really great life. And I didn't have to experience all the hardship that they go through.
Yeah. And so you simply went then here to primary school, knowing no German words, starting from scratch.
Exactly. Yeah, I enrolled in first grade in Germany at the primary school and did my whole academics in Germany. And for me, it was definitely much easier to learn the language at such an early age. And it was very smooth transition. And so my parents definitely had it much harder than me.
Yeah, clear. And maybe because later on we will talk about what you do at Power Minds Club, but it's about couples counseling, or at least helping couples to optimize their relationship. Now, I can imagine that for your parents, coming to Germany, starting all over again, also could have been quite challenging for their relationship. So did you notice something about that yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I saw them go through ups and downs in their relationship as the business also went through ups and downs.
Yeah.
And what I really admired about their relationship, and I think that was also an inspiration to me, is they always worked as a team. They talked about everything and anything, business, private. So that really inspired me to do something similar, and was really great to see their communication being so open.
So your mother was also involved in the entrepreneurial venture of your father.
Exactly, it was a family business. Both of
Oh,
them
okay.
worked together, and I sometimes helped out as well. So it was a family business all along.
Okay, interesting. Good. Now, as I mentioned briefly in the introduction, so Power Minds Club is about helping couples in optimizing their relationship. Can you tell me a bit about how you came to this idea to do this? Well, what was the trigger to focus on this kind of activity?
Yeah, I'm my husband and I, we're both in our 30s,
Mm.
and we met on Tinder actually 7 years
Oh,
ago. uh, it worked for us really well,
okay.
and we got married 3 years ago. Had a beautiful ceremony in Mallorca with our family and friends, and I would say it was perfect and kind of dream come true. It was so great to see everyone there, and everyone said, "Ah, you guys are so perfect for each other, such a perfect couple, and so lucky to have each other
Mm.
in your life." And in my heart and deep down, I always thought, "Oh, this is interesting that you say it's luck, because I feel we work really hard at our relationship. We work
Okay.
really hard at our marriage." Sometimes I joke with him and say, "Yeah, we kind of run our relationship or marriage as a business." we
Okay.
we because we have really busy jobs,
Mm.
and we schedule quality time and weekends together,
Okay.
mark it in our calendar in advance, and have to always like set a meeting time to plan our weeks ahead. So it is kind of like organization that we are doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and 2 years ago, we faced a pretty hard time in our relationship. And like I said, we work hard jobs and long hours, and small arguments became big arguments. And that time I was like, okay, why are we fighting all this time? This is really not helpful
Mm.
for our relationship, and also not really helpful for our personal well-being. And that's when I seeked a couples coach,
Yeah.
and that was a life-changing event for us and for our relationship. And I thought, wow, this is so great, and it definitely has to be more available and accessible for more couples. And I talked to my two co-founders, and who I knew I wanted to start a company with. I asked them, "Would you guys want to tackle this problem?" And yeah, and they both were also excited and saw the needs. We talked to our friends, and yeah, and that's how it kind of started with Power Mind Club.
Yeah, because you were telling that this coaching for you and your husband was a life-changing event. Could you maybe briefly explain a bit why that really changed the dynamics? How did it really help you?
It just helped us to understand and communicate better, and
Okay.
also to talk about some unpleasant topics we didn't really want to talk. Because when you have a stressful job, come home from your job, it's even more complicated to talk about some things. So and the coach just really helped us to guide through that phase in our relationship. And we still make an effort to work with the coach on a monthly basis at this
Okay.
moment, even though we don't have an urgent issue. But it feels kind of like a spa for our relationship, actually,
Okay.
because it's kind of a different kind of date night for us.
Yeah.
We make an effort to talk, and to talk about feelings, and what's our needs, and where do we want to go.
Yeah, a spa for your marriage. I really like
Yeah.
that phrase. Oh, great. So, but at the same time, I mean, you have really benefited from it. I think at the same time, there is still some stigma around this kind of couples counseling. To be honest, I think if I would tell my parents tomorrow, my wife and I have decided to do couples counseling, they would immediately see red flags and think that we are in huge problems or something like that, and it would raise a lot of concerns. So with Power Mind Club, how will you try to address that issue that there is so much stigma related to this topic of coaching of couples?
Yeah, totally right, Dries. It's when we were doing customer interviews, when you mentioned the word couples therapy, couples counseling, everyone is like, "Oh God, what is going on? I don't want to do this. I have a happy relationship and I don't need it." So everyone is really scared of this topic. And but what we also realized that is it's such an emotional topic. And everyone wants to have a great relationship. Everyone is seeking love. So why not educate young couples and individuals about the fact that love is a great feeling. Love is really important for a relationship, but having a long-term healthy relationship, a skill that you can actually learn. So we do a lot of content on social media because we've seen a great success in that. Just providing mindful tasks or easy topics on all social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and that gave our users a fun way to get more access to this topic.
Yeah, okay. Because can you maybe give an example of some first kind of success events that you already experienced by providing this kind of content?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what we were doing last week was an open online session.
Okay.
The topic was me time in a relationship. And with our coach, we provided a small group of 10 users. They were logged into the Zoom session, and they were just talking to each other about their experience and giving each other like new impulse about what they could do or what has helped them. And that kind of session has showed us that it is kind of, in a way, talking with your friends and also kind of way coaching, but it doesn't feel like it's couples therapy or like therapy in general. We have recurring users who joined our meetings. It's like a bi-weekly session. And for example, a mom in her 30s with 2 young kids, she told us how she applied something that another user told her in the session, and that really has helped her and established kind of a community among them as well.
Yeah, so because I think this element of community building is quite an interesting one, because typically this therapy thing is like something private, even maybe a bit hidden, that you talk with the therapist, but nobody else knows. Whereas you seem to apply a much more a kind of community perspective, like let's try that people can share with each other kind of insights and best practices and stuff like that.
Yes, totally. It's like you said, no one wants to talk about it, but everyone is experiencing it. And it's when you talk to young parents, everyone has the struggle of a screaming child and not having enough sleep. But then you have this beautiful newborn baby, and you think, oh, I cannot talk about this struggle. I have to talk about my beautiful baby. So the community aspect is so important in this context.
Okay, and so as I understand, right, you're now focusing on building up this community, kind of giving people educational content so that they can realize and create awareness for the issue. In the longer term, is it then really that you want to become a kind of platform that connects people that are looking for a counselor or a mentor with mentors that are available? Is that in the end the direction you want to go to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the direction we want to go is we want to be the platform and app for relationship well-being and relationship health. So with our app, you can have daily mindfulness tasks and questions and reflection and tasks in regard to relationship with your just by yourself or with your partner together. And then we will provide webinars, workshops, and then there's also a point where if you feel like it's necessary, you can connect with a one-on-one coaching as well.
Yeah, okay. So the coaching is just one part of the platform. It's much broader than that.
Exactly, because coaching is just one aspect of learning and growing, and there's just so much more to it. And definitely the other parts to it have a low barrier for them to try.
Okay, great. Now maybe because we are talking about the topic in the end of well-being, I also want to ask a kind of broader question because I'm really fascinated by it. So I'm a professor in entrepreneurship, and I'm teaching a lot of entrepreneurship classes. And often I get a question from my students, have you done an entrepreneurial venture yourself? And then I have to say, honestly, no, I've never done that. And then they always ask me, why not? And then I try to give them the honest answer, like saying, look, I think it's a very challenging trajectory, and I'm really concerned that it would affect my mental health. I would really see a risk of getting into a burnout or also, again, relational problems. So I actually decided to stay away from it. Now, you have now made the decision to go into an entrepreneurial venture, and I think at the same time, you're very kind of aware of mental issues. So can you explain me a bit about how at the moment you're actually trying to keep a kind of healthy balance between engaging in this kind of roller coaster of an entrepreneurial trajectory and at the same time be aware of the mental issues that it might trigger?
Yeah, definitely. It's mental health and mental well-being is such a important issue to me, and that's why I think this company is such an important issue that we are tackling.
Yeah.
And for us, there's like two parts. The founder and the business part well-being. In the business well-being is really important, and in that way, what we do is every 2 weeks, me and my co-founders, we have 45 minutes dedicated to just talking about the highs and lows in our personal life, the highs and lows in our business life, and the highs and lows in our family and friends life, and how it affects us. And that's a slot that's just about talking about and reflecting. And for us, that really helped us to connect with each other and also understand how, in what situation the other person is maybe feeling overwhelmed and stressed. That has really helped us in the business and as a team. For me personally, I always think like taking care of myself and my personal well-being is important in order for me to perform. I love being in the nature. The nature is really a place for me to de-stress and reconnect. So I make an effort of like going outside. Like I have a dog, so she forces me to take her on walks anyway. But during the walks, I always leave my cell phone at home and just have no digital with me. So I'm not distracted and can just like breathe a little bit, and that really helps me.
Yeah, but I really like this idea, or but you applied that you say every 2 weeks we take 45 minutes to talk about these issues. I think I don't hear it that much, and I think it's actually very important. So I think that's very, I think also interesting tip for other startups, that they do take the time to reflect not only on each other, but also on the broader family and how it can affect your personal life, of course. So,
yeah, because like we always talk about business. We always talk about how we can get more customers and what's the marketing story. But then when we don't make this effort and schedule into our daily business, we just don't talk about it so often and regularly. So we really applied this, and we said, obviously, we are a mental well-being business, and taking care of our company culture and our personal well-being needs to go hand in hand.
Yeah, great. Maybe another question about your choice to become an entrepreneur, because as you mentioned in the beginning, you came from China to Germany. Your parents worked, I think, very, very hard to establish a life here. And I can imagine, like with a lot of parents, especially with an immigration background, it's about making sure that the child has a better life than themselves, or at least better is maybe the wrong word, but a more prosperous life than themselves. And you went then to school, to university, did an MBA. Of course, this is a kind of trajectory that allows you to take a kind of comfortable job in the corporate world, earn enough money and live a stable life. And now you decided to leave that stable life and start a startup, which is always much more uncertain. So I'm wondering a bit, how do your parents look at that?
I was also not sure in the beginning when I told them. Not to say scared is maybe too much, but nervous.
Okay.
Because just like you said, they wanted me to have this normal corporate job, and because that's something they couldn't achieve so easily here in Germany. And but I was surprised by my mom's reaction when I told her that I wanted to do something on my own. She was very supportive, and maybe it's also because I'm older now. She saw that I did my thing, and she knows that I'm dedicated to a topic. I will try as hard as possible to work towards it. So she has more. She trusts me now.
So you're old enough to do it now.
Yeah,
something like that.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. But she was really supportive. So is my dad, and so I'm really grateful that they were able to get on board with the idea of me starting my own business.
Great. Yeah, that's great. Maybe about PowerMind Club. So you just started. You're now in the accelerator of the WHU program. But in the end, what is a bit the vision that you have with the company? What do you want to achieve with this startup?
Yeah, our vision is that we are the coaching and learning platform in regard to relationship health, relationship well-being. We want to help couples and individuals who are maybe feeling that they are at 40% in their relationship, 88 or 99, to take them to this extra 100% as close as possible, and that they feel happy and content as an individual, and they feel happy and content as a couple. And it's so important to tackle this as a company, because it has such a big impact in our society, and just talking about these kind of things that people are not likely to want to talk about, but really important to be mentioned.
So it's a bit what you have experienced yourself, that this kind of counseling really helped you to kind of give a new dimension to your own relationship. You would hope that with your company you can give other people also that experience.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's, I think, a very nice objective and a very important one. I think given the whole Corona crisis, I think we have dealt with, I would say, the kind of short-term implications of that. But I think the long-term implications are still to come. And I think a lot of mental issues will emerge in the past year. So I think this issue of mental well-being is becoming a very important issue. And so it's, I think, great to see that we have new companies that want to contribute to that, to solve that important societal topic. Chenchen, thanks a lot for sharing some insights about what you're developing, and also to so openly talk about how you came to the idea and how it is related to your personal life. That's always nice to hear that kind of storytelling of the founders. So thanks a lot, and also a lot of success with the startup. And I hope we can maybe later on have another recording then to talk about the huge successes that you and your co-founders achieved.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dries, for having us.
Okay, then also thanks to our listeners to listen to this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to rate us on your favorite podcast player. And I hope that we will hear you again in one of the next episodes with Garrett or me. Okay, bye.